So, that does wrap up the main body of tonight's awards, and as you know, the OPC will remain committed to really defining future generations of reporters dedicated to international news coverage in all sorts of media. And before I mangle any more syntax, mispronounce any more names, and bend any more genders, I am going to get off and turn over to Allan Dodds Frank, who will bestow the OPC President's Award on the lion of our business, Jim Lehrer, a panel and a pillar of international reporting and integrity to whom we all look up.
Thank you so much, Christiane, for doing a fabulous job. I know it's a great honor for everybody here to get an award from her. Someday I hope to get one myself, and maybe I'll be lucky enough to get it from Christiane. It is indeed a great night. We're so glad you're all here. And we're able to share the adventures of our winners, you know, inspirational from the beginning with Ruth Gruber. And now I want to just take a second and thank our executive director, Sonia Fry, her hardworking assistant, Boots Duquet, Jane Riley of the Overseas Press Club Foundation, and the OPC interns for all their work over the year that has culminated in tonight's smashing success. The interns even put pledge cards on your table, so if you found this evening inspiring, don't hesitate to fill one out. We'd be happy to have any help you can give us. Thanks to Michael Serrell and Nancy Novick for producing Dateline, which I hope you'll take with you. And finally, I'd like to thank Rita Savell, who is the fiancée of Bill Holstein and is going to get married to him next month at the Overseas Press Club, 40 West 45th, for putting up with all the time he spent to make this dinner a success, and to my wife, Lillian King, who put up with an equal amount of hassle. Now, it's my privilege as the president to select as the winner of the President's Award a newsman who has made outstanding contributions to journalism and to the public good. My choice, of course, is a giant of a newsman, Jim Lehrer, of the NewsHour with Jim Lehrer on PBS. Especially in today's television environment, where shouting and being shrill masquerade as substitutes for authority, Jim Lehrer shows us best by example that the way to go is expose the facts. He is now, for good reason, the most trusted newsman in America. In fact, I've learned the hard way about how appealing Lehrer's approach is to the audience he really knows and that really cares about the news. One of his faithful viewers who normally watches on WQED in Pittsburgh is my 94-year-old mother, who was once in the news business. And for the last 20 years, while I've been a television newsman, most of the time I've been on programs opposite the MacNeil-Lehrer NewsHour and now the Lehrer NewsHour. And Robin MacNeil is here to honor his old partner, and we're glad to have him, former President's Award winner himself. Robin, will you stand up for just a sec? Anyway, I've had to battle these two guys for my mother's attention. I mean, and once Lehrer took over as the sole anchor, and guided the NewsHour to more eminence than ever. It got even worse. My mother would demand that I give her an exact hit time about when I was going to be on, because she didn't want to miss an extra minute of Jim, and I might add, which she usually did not need to add, the more intelligent broadcast. Now, I should also mention that not only is Jim Lehrer a giant as a broadcast newsman for 5 decades and has been a great print reporter, he also has found the time to write 3 plays, 2 personal memoirs, and 19 novels. The latest is Oh, Johnny, this one, which he just published this month, Random House. It combines a World War II theme with Lehrer's love of baseball and buses. I could go on forever about Jim Lehrer, but I'd like him to come up now, and I'll just read the proclamation because I think that says it all, and hopefully we'll hear a few words from Jim. Jim, please come up. President's Award says to Jim Lehrer, in recognition of his unparalleled contributions on the NewsHour with Jim Lehrer, the public broadcasting system program, which has most steadfastly informed and enlightened the public about news from around the world. His brilliance is in his seemingly simple quest for the truth. First as co-anchor with Robin MacNeil, then for the last 13 years as the sole executive editor and anchor. Lehrer has set the standard for serious journalism. Multi-talented, he gives us concise questions, level delivery, perceptive explanations, and an unmatched understanding of the news. Like a baseball player who hits with power at all fields and plays great defense, Lehrer, night after night, ranges across the landscape. His work and encouragement have inspired countless other journalists, as has his even-handed performance as the moderator of 11 presidential debates. Viewers and readers around the world have benefited immeasurably, and we are all better for his efforts. So let's all get on the bus, and please join me in a standing ovation as we welcome Jim Lehrer.
Thank you very much. It's never going to get any better than that, and I know that. To be honored by the Overseas Press Club is the ultimate honor for people who do this kind of work, our kind of work. I know that, and I will know it forever, and I will cherish it forever. There is something else that I also know, and that I want you to know forever. If there was ever an award to an individual that deserved to go to many, this is it tonight. Yes, for 35 years, coverage of the news overseas has been at the heart of what we do on our little program. But the reason for that rests mostly on our creator, Robert MacNeil. Winner of this very same award in 1995. He started our program in 1975. It had the single worst title in the history of television. It was called the Robert MacNeil Report. And I was the simple, humble Washington correspondent. But in a few months, my mother interceded, and it became the MacNeil-Lehrer Report. Fortunately, our collaboration was always based on shared journalistic values. But his journalistic values came from his experience as a foreign correspondent. First with the CBC, then the BBC, and then NBC, and that was before we got together on PBS. He brought years of travel to places, to travel and reporting to places all over the world. My foreign experience, when we came together as partners, had been mostly in South Texas, Nuevo Laredo, and as an infantry platoon leader in the Marines in the Far East. But it was Robin who established our priorities for foreign coverage that exist to this very day and will forever. And as you know, he is here tonight. I am but one of the keepers of his flame, so to speak, along with Margaret Warner now and Elizabeth Farnsworth before, who have done much of our on-the-ground foreign reporting for our program. Linda Winslow, our executive producer now, her predecessor, Les Crystal, who is now the president of MacNeil-Lehrer Productions, who is here tonight as well. Yes, I thank you for this special attention to my achievements, but please, in television, there is no such thing as false modesty. So when I say I accept and speak mostly for the achievements of Robert MacNeil and the others in our journalistic family who believe and maintain our commitment to covering the world around us as well as us, please, I mean it, and now you know where it all began. A couple of personal notes, and I will leave you alone for the evening. This award has to do with career, personal kinds of things. I want to take note of a few personal things. We all have mentors. I had a mentor, the late A.C. Green, who's a newspaper man. When I became a reporter in the 1960s at the Dallas Times-Herald, as coincidence would have it, his daughter, Meredith Green McGaw, is here tonight. She works for the Committee for the Protection of Journalists. Meredith, where are you? A present mentor. Allan mentioned these incredible novels that I have written over the last years. That is because I am blessed, and there's not one person in this room. I don't care if you do radio, I don't care if you do TV, I don't care if you do it in print, and whatever kind of print you do, or whether you do it on a pink iPod with somebody's name engraved on it, we all need editors. I have the best book editor there is, Bob Loomis of Random House, who is also here tonight. Finally, the most personal thing of all, my wife Kate and I have 3 daughters, and one of the 3 is here. Our daughter Lucy Lehrer, who also a journalist, executive editor-in-chief of one of the crucial key magazines of the Scholastic Group. She does the hard work, as I tell her. She takes the news of the day, the important issues, and makes it understandable to kids. And she does it beautifully, our daughter Lucy. One final personal note, and I know you'll be delighted to hear this. The first time I was paid money to speak into a microphone, Allan mentioned something about buses, was in the 1950s. I was going to a small junior college in South Texas, and I worked at night as a ticket agent in the Continental Trailways bus depot. And one of my duties, MacNeil used to say, Lehrer, you are so emotional, if you tear up over a good light beer commercial. Well, I've done that. So be it. Anyhow, I worked at night at a ticket agent at this bus depot in Victoria, Texas, which is on the Gulf Coast, halfway between Houston and Corpus Christi. And one of my duties was to do what I'm going to do now, which is speak into a microphone, thusly. May I have your attention, please? This is your last call for Continental Trailways, 8:10 p.m. Silverside's air-conditioned through liner to Houston. Now leaving from lane 1 for Inez, Edna, Ganado, Louise, El Campo, Pierce, Wharton, Hungerford, Pendleton, Beasley, Rosenberg, Richmond, Sugar Land, Stafford, Missouri City, and Houston. All aboard! Don't forget your baggage, please. Thank you very much.
Hey, Jim.